I'm Chris Savannah with American Outdoor News, and we're here with wrestling legend Stone Cold Steve Austin. Steve, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Man, good to be here with you today.
So, Steve, you grew up in Texas,
Correct.
went to school, played football. Uh, is it true that you studied wildlife biology in college?
No, that's not true. I went into college. I was going to be a business major, and then math and something else was kicking my ass. So I changed to PE major. So I never ended up getting a degree. I left college with 17 hours to graduate, and I figured that I don't know, I didn't need a degree, and so I just set out and I was working on a freight dock and ended up in the wrestling business.
Did you grow up hunting?
Yeah, man. I remember, probably when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, walking behind my father with my two brothers in the brush country down there in South Texas, in and around that area. And then I probably started hunting. We took the hunter safety course. We were a member of what was around back in the day was American Sportsman's Club, and they had different properties all over in Texas specifically. I don't know where else it was, but you'd get on a lease and you'd drive down there and hunt for a couple of days. And I remember probably taking my first deer. He was a spike. I was probably 13 years old, and I've been hunting ever since.
It is a lifestyle.
It is, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone's for it, but I am. It's part of who and what I am. I grew up doing it. I'm looking forward to this hunting season. There's primarily mule deer up here. I grew up chasing, South Texas whitetail. Nevada has great hunting. There's a little bit of a mountain lion issue, in my opinion, but nonetheless, do a lot of mule deer hunting and antelope hunting with my brother-in-law, and it's just a passion and something I still enjoy to this day.
Now, you're known to have a pretty intense personality in the ring and out and things of that nature. How does hunting um, offset that?
Man, I don't know that offsets it. I just enjoy it so much. In the business of pro wrestling, I mean, you can be extremely mellow and boring if you want to, but my character was kind of on the aggressive side. And I would say, growing up in my football days, that's who I was as a competitive athlete. Of course, I didn't talk the same trash because my parents, taught us to be humble and just to be, I don't know, level headed, good sportsmanship. But in that game, there's a little bit of show business. So that's the show business aspect of it. But I hunt every year, primarily now that I'm in Nevada. I've been hunting with my brother-in-law. He's a professional guide. He's been guiding for a little over 40 years, and he's a master trapper. He's
Wow.
one of the best guys I've ever hunted with. And, chasing these mule deer out here, you can glass where you have to glass. You have to glass a lot, but you've got to be mobile out here. And sometimes we'll go for several days without seeing one single animal, and then finally we'll spot them. So, we're riding around in a side by side or like a Toyota Tacoma for stealth, and we're glassing a lot and covering a lot of ground. And it's just relaxing to me to go for several days without seeing one single animal, kind of getting your ass kicked in a sense. And then finally seeing them, it's very exciting. And then to get a shot on being able to take something, that's a whole nother thing. So I just enjoy the process, man, because sometimes I guess it would be you'd have to. I don't know, where are you based out of?
I'm based out of New York, the hunting
Okay, so
capital of the
you're in
world.
upstate in New York. Okay, so that's a hell of a lot different it is than it is out here because we're in mountainous terrain and desert country, and so you can glass for miles. I mean, you might spot something 7 miles away and then start stalking on it. And when I first started hunting out here, I was like, we're going to see it 7 miles away and then sneak up on it and in a good enough range to get a shot on it. And it took me a long time to understand that coming from South Texas. But to answer your question, it doesn't offset anything. It's just something that I enjoy. And man, if we don't see anything for a couple of days, I'm super excited just to be mellow and just riding along shotgun with my brother-in-law in a buggy or in that truck. It doesn't matter to me. I just enjoy hunting. It ain't about You always want to be, you'd love for the hunt to be successful in the end because you want to put meat in the freezer. But you aren't always successful, but that goes with it. I guess that's what makes it hunting.
Yeah, I think hunting muleys are a lot different than hunting whitetail. Um, they're a little bit more well, they're out in the open. Yeah, they don't have the brush that whitetail have.
Well, it's interesting because coming from Texas, you can hunt over bait in Texas, and everybody does. And it's a high fence operation because everybody's trying to grow a big deer. You're supplemental feeding protein. You're hunting over corn. That's just the way it is. I'm not saying that all ranches do that, but 99.9% do. When you come out here to Nevada, there's no hunting over bait. It's fair chase. You're out on, public land, hundreds and thousands of acres of it. So, what you see is what you get, or what you don't see is what you don't get. So you got to put the work in. You're
Yeah.
not waiting in Texas, and I say this respectfully because I'm from Texas and I love it there. But in Texas, it's more waiting, so much more than to me than hunting.
More stand hunting
Correct.
than spot and stalk. Same here in New York.
Hey man,
Mostly
I had a
stand.
ranch down there. We had the Broken Skull Ranch down there. It was 2,000 acres. We had some Cadillac deer stands. They were 4x6. We had a Mr. Buddy heating system, propane heater in there. I mean, it was Cadillac. But hunting out here in Nevada, sometimes we're getting our ass kicked out there in the rain. It's cold as hell. That's it. You go through the elements, but that makes it all that much more fun.
Where's your favorite place to hunt?
Here in Nevada, I do a lot of hunting. You ever hear of the Burning Man Festival?
No.
Okay, it's a thing out here in Nevada that hundreds of thousands of people come to. About 100,000 people a year come to out there in Unit 012, 014 in Gerlach Country, Northern Nevada. Northern Nevada is my favorite place to hunt. I'll also hunt a little bit over in a town called, 100 miles out of a town called Winnemucca. People in Nevada know their terrain, so anybody here that would be listening to this or reading this would know the area that I'm talking about. It's tough country out there.
It's
Hang on, let my dog. Sorry about that. I got a black lab.
it's okay.
Time for her to go.
So you would prefer Nevada at any other place to hunt?
Yeah, I've been able to hunt a few states, not too many. There's a lot of states that I'd like to hunt, but out here, I don't like to travel too much anymore. I spent a good part of my life traveling.
Yeah, I
So
get it.
Nevada's such a vast state, it's just as far as being able to get out in the middle of nowhere. I don't like to leave Nevada too much, so I don't. I get invited all the time to hunt different places, but I seldom go because I don't like to leave Nevada.
Well, what would be your dream hunt, and who would you hunt that dream hunt with, past or present?
I don't really think about dream hunts, but myself and Brock Lesnar have been wanting to get together and hunt for many years, and we haven't been able to. We haven't been able because of scheduling, and I think he spends a lot of his time in Canada. So we're a pretty good ways apart, but we've been trying to hunt together for a long time, and we haven't got that done yet. But maybe we will in the next 4, 5, 6 years.
Do you do a lot of conservation in Nevada where you're hunting, or?
Uh, in regards to what?
Well, the land that you hunt, preservation of the wildlife, things of that nature.
Well, I don't know as far as a specific task that you would say that I would be doing, but I mean, all of my license plates are conservation plates, so I'm donating to the system. I leave the land in as good a shape as I found it in. In any other aspect, I wouldn't understand the question.
Well, you have the ranch in Texas as well, correct?
No, we sold that. We sold that when we made the move to Nevada.
Oh, okay. So now you're based there permanently.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, what else do you hunt besides muley in Nevada?
There's a lot of people that checker hunt up here, and that involves a lot of walking. Dogs would be helpful. Coming from South Texas, we did a lot of dove hunting. We didn't have to do too much quail hunting. So out here, dove hunting, I would say it's not as good as Texas. So I don't dove hunt anymore. I just had a knee replacement about 4 months ago. So my knee has been bothering me for several years. I haven't gotten into chukar hunting just because you're walking, at 4,500 to 7,000 feet, and then in that rocky terrain on a bad knee that needs replacing. Not a great time at the office. So I haven't delved into chukar hunting. I've seen a couple out at a place that I've been frequenting more and more out here in Nevada. So I might take that up this year, but that would be about it.
Yeah, the knee recovery takes a
They say
little
it takes a
doing.
full year, but I mean, I'm at 4 months and I can walk really good. I started racing side by sides as a hobby, and I broke down and had to walk 6 miles through the brush the other day. I was kicking boulders and sagebrush, and that wasn't that fun, but the knee held up really well. So I'm thankful that I got it replaced, and the recovery is going really, really good. And I think I'm ahead of the schedule actually.
You're sponsored by Kawasaki?
I've been working with Kawasaki since 2015. This marks the 10-year anniversary I've been with them. So, not really sponsored on the racing side, but I do work with them as somewhat of an ambassador. And it's been a great relationship that I really enjoy. And that's what I ride when I'm out in the woods.
How do you like the side by side racing?
Man,
Gets pretty rough out there.
you talk about a blast. One of the veterans out there, like when I was coming up in the wrestling business, you'd get one of the old timers or one of the veterans, as we'd call them, with maybe 15 more years of experience, and they'd kind of take you under their learning tree, and they would tell you and give you advice. Slow down. It's the same thing when you start racing. You think you've got to go fast, and that's the ultimate goal, is to go fast. But one of the guys out there took me aside and he said, Steve, you've got to learn to drive slow before you can learn to drive fast.
Mm.
At the time, that didn't make sense to me. 2 races later, it made sense to me. You've got to just make it around the course. Don't make it around the course, hauling ass at a level that you can't control. You've got to learn to drive the car, pick lines, not upset the car. Just to navigate the terrain, listen to your co-driver calling out turns and stuff like that. So now that makes complete sense to me. And I found off-road racing a little bit late. I wish I'd have found it a lot sooner than I had, just because it's so much fun and I really enjoy it. And it plays into, how competitive I am. And so I would say that I have really progressed a lot in the 3 years that I've been racing. I've got a long ways to go, just like I did in wrestling. And anything you do, it's how many reps do you get? How many reps can you get? And that's when the higher those reps get in anything, you get better. So that's what I'm trying to achieve right now. I'm doing well, and I want to do better.
Well, I think once you're an athlete and you have that competitive edge, it never really leaves. It kind of uh, it's like a hunger. You're always feeding for it.
And I always wondered if race drivers were athletes. And after starting, racing now for 3 years, I would, 100% say that driving these drivers are athletes. And I think that's kind of what has given me some of the success that I've had, because I am an athlete, and it's hand foot coordination, timing. There's a learning curve, yes, but I think someone athletic or has an athletic background, has a fair chance of succeeding, just because I think athletes are wired a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now you've hunted with a lot of friends. Um, any any hunting stories come to mind with one of them?
No, just good times, and just camp time is some of the most fun time, just bonding and telling stories and drinking a couple of beers. Just I've got a million hunting stories, but yeah, yeah, I'll leave that as that.
Yeah, it's people think that people that don't hunt, they think it's just about going and killing animals. For me, half of it is being in camp with your friends and family, uh, swapping stories, telling lies. It's all part of it.
Well, it is. I mean, and I choose, over the course of my lifetime, I mean, I've hunted with some complete lunatics when I look back. But now I'm very picky who I hang out with and who I hunt with. I mean, and I'm extremely a gun safety fanatic. I don't like being around unsafe people, and
Mhm.
I know gun safety, and you've got to respect a gun. So I just hunt out with, I hang out with people that are like-minded like myself. And I also do a lot of long range shooting with my friends out here in Nevada. So the people that I hang around with have an immense respect for all firearms, and firearm safety is first and foremost, whether it comes to, hunting or long range shooting. If you're going to go out there, with a firearm, you've got to be safe.
I agree. You got to respect it and be aware of where that muzzle is pointing at all times.
100%.
But getting back to what you said earlier, I think that's all part of growing and experience. We've all done kind of crazy stuff growing up in the field, going out in the woods with your friends and whatnot, and things kind of change over time. You get tempered, you get a family. Instead of talking about, you know, going out with your friends, getting loaded or whatnot, you're talking about, what you're going to name your kid or where you're going on vacation, things of that nature. Life just changes you.
Well, I also find that we're talking a little bit less and just enjoying being out. There's so much technology these days, and when I go where I go when I'm hunting, there is no cell service. There's nothing, and so to be able to disconnect and not be bombarded with everything or having everything at your fingertips, so to speak, is from a technology standpoint. That part is enjoyable because you just get a little bit more peace of mind, and you're not getting all the things that are coming into your feed. So you unplug, and sometimes, I think there's that old saying, "Silence is golden." Yeah, never more so than now.
Yep. Now, when you're hunting out there, do you rough it or do you have a lodge to go back to? What type of hunt is it?
This little farm we stay at for most of the hunts. It's a cabin. It's probably about 800 or 900 square feet. It's got two small bedrooms, one little bitty bathroom, small kitchen. It's got two lounge chairs that are wore out, and there's not a television out there. Uh, God dang it! Got a fireplace, and it's a great setup, but it's not a 5 star place. I would give it about a star and a half.
It's
But
bare bones. It's a
it's
hunting camp.
overhead. It's a great setup because it has well, you don't really ever need air conditioning, but you got that fireplace. That's what heats the place, and we've got a stove to cook on, and yeah, man, that's where we stay. And sometimes I'll drag my camper out there, and I've got a fifth wheel 32 foot toy hauler, and it's fairly nice. It's 4 or 5 years old, but so I'm Cadillacing it a little bit, but I'm not sleeping in a wall tent, in a sleeping bag or something. But
Yep.
these days, man, I beat my body up so much in the line of work I chose. I kind of try to, if I can Cadillac it, I will.
I hear you. So yeah, you bring your camper and a bunch of your IPA.
Man, yeah, I'll always take a couple of beers and a good bottle of whiskey, and we'll have a couple, here and there. Not like we used to, but it's always good to have something to come back to. And I've been in the beer business for 10 years, so I'm proud of that. We've had a lot of success. We make great beer, and it's always nice when you're hanging out with your buddy. My brother-in-law is one of my best friends, and he doesn't even drink my beer, but because he's not much of a beer drinker. But I don't need anybody to endorse my beer. I just have a good time hanging out with family, and having a cold beer. I mean, that's part of America, in my
Yep.
America anyway.
It's all part of, for us, it's all part of coming back to camp.
Yeah,
You unwind, you crack a top, sit down, enjoy a meal. That's what it's about.
it gives you something to look forward to because we're out there. Like most times when we go out, I don't drink anything that really out in the field, anything other than water. I might have some of those sugarless iced teas that come in those plastic bottles, but for the most part, it's all water. And we'll have a like a dry box with chips or beef jerky or whatever. Every now and then, shit, I might make a sandwich or something like that. But we're not eating much out there. We're just putting in the miles. We're glassing, and if we see something, we're watching. So we're not out there eating a whole lot. By the time we get back to camp, we're ready to cook dinner and just have a beer and think about talk about what we did during the day and think about where we need to go tomorrow to be able to see some game.
That's what it's about. What else do you hunt out there?
Man, for me, just mule deer and antelope. I haven't drawn, in Nevada, you have a draw system. So I haven't drawn a big orange sheep. I haven't drawn an elk. I probably got enough points that sooner, it's kind of a lottery system draw. That's the way it is. So if you don't draw, you ain't hunting.
Yeah,
With myself, I've maintained a great relationship with the people that bought my ranch down there in South Texas, and I can go down there and hunt with them anytime I want to. But it's just it wouldn't be the same hunting that I've grown accustomed to, and so I would go down there and then help harvest some does because they've got a cull to keep numbers correct as far as your management program for your ranch. But
hmm,
that's 1,900 miles there and 1,900 miles back. So if I get a chance, I will buy a landowner tag here in Nevada. Now we don't hunt that land; we hunt the unit, but it gives you the ability to be able to hunt. And I'll spend the money here in Nevada for a landowner tag, if I have to, because I am going to hunt one way or another.
yep, yep. We do the stand hunting here with the space heater. Can't
Yeah,
can't do it like I used to do it anymore. I'm getting too old.
hey, I've been there and did that. My brother was God dang, I think he was in Colorado. Him and his wife were in Colorado. I think they were on an elk hunt, and the guide and Scott, my brother, spotted an elk way down the mountain, and there was a system blowing in. It was dark. Darkness was setting in. It was about to go dark, but they thought they was going to make a stalk on this elk. That's long story short. That storm came in. My brother's wife was stuck on top of the mountain with the horses. My brother and the guide were down there just freezing their asses off together, just huddled up together, and they couldn't move until morning. And sure enough, morning comes, they go back up. His wife is fine, thank God. She had a gun, was holding off the coyotes. They both had frostbite on their hands and their fingers and their toes. And it was a great story as he tells it. And but I told him, I said, Scott, I said, God dang it, it sounds like a good story, but this is when I had my ranch and I was hunting out of those 4x6 heaters, stands with those heaters in them. So it's pretty nice when you're doing it. But the way I
Yep,
do it now, if you were to come down, you would dig it. You would really enjoy it because it's just riding around in the desert country and looking at all this sagebrush, trying to spot a mule deer that's blending in there or an antelope, whatever you're hunting. It's a lot of fun because that glass and seeing animals is an art. And my brother-in-law has been doing it for so long. He's so much better at spotting things than I am. In Texas, you're generally looking, anywhere, but out there in the brush country, your average shot is going to be 100 yards, and that's just the truth of it. Out here, my minimum range, I zero my gun at 300 yards,
hmm,
and I've gone out to 740. But I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to keep everything 600 yards and in.
that's a shot.
It is a shot, but I've always liked to shoot. I consider myself. I'm not going to brag because I could be beaten in a competition, but I'm a pretty damn good shot. but I also go out and shoot with my long range buddies. I've taken long range courses to up my game. I have a buddy that's an Army Ranger. Every time he has a class, I'll go out there. Although I've taken the class, I'll still go out there and shoot. Another friend of mine, we just built a 6.5 Creedmoor together. And my number one gun is a 300 Win Mag. My backup gun is a 7 Mag. And I'm out here, all these exotic calibers. Nevada is home to a lot of long range shooting. And everybody's been talking about these 6.5 Creeds, 6.5 PRCs for so long. I went ahead and built one just so it'd be a little bit more cost efficient to shoot. And I built a target gun specifically, so I wasn't wearing out my hunting gun. And man, we dialed that thing out to 1,000 yards the other day, and I was just
Wow.
everything with the holdovers and got really good glass, put a Zeiss scope on it. So that's been a lot of fun. And I, anytime I go out and hunt, but I also shoot enough during the year. I just people that go out and my number one question, if someone would come to my ranch with, hey man, did you sight your gun in? And they might say, well, it was on last year and it's been in my case the whole year, so it's still on. I tell them, no, I don't give a damn if it's still in the case and it was on last year. You're going to go shoot it right now. If it ain't on, we're going to make the adjustments. So
Yep.
you can't assume that your gun's on. You've got to go out there and prove that it's on. And then also, if you haven't shot in a couple of years, you need to put at least half a box of shells down the range, just so you can just reacclimate yourself to the platform. I, I had a coyote come out here the other day, and I'd been racing, so I had all my guns locked up in a safe, and I was going to go grab a 22, and then I decided to go grab my 223, and I shoot Remingtons exclusively on my hunting guns. So the way the safety is, I know that platform like the back of my hand. I jumped on that AR platform. The safety is much different. And so I was out there fumbling around trying to get a shot off this coyote. And my point is, whatever you're going to do, you've got to be familiar with your platform.
Yeah.
So if you go out there when it's deer season, I'm ready for it because I've already put in the time to make sure that I'm always proficient at what I'm about to do. And that's why I don't bow hunt. A lot of people say, hey, man, do you shoot? I shoot occasionally, but I don't shoot a bow enough to be, to take a shot at one because I'm not going to stick one in the ass or wherever and not get a good shot on him. So if you're going to hunt, you should be really good at your shots, good at making shots, and be responsible about knowing how far you can or can't shoot.
Yeah, I'm more of a bow hunter than a rifle hunter, but
And you know what I'm talking about with regards to shooting and practicing.
it's a diminishing skill. You know,
Yes.
rifle or bow. If you don't do it religiously, you're not going to be on. You're not going to be shooting your best game. But long range is a completely different animal. We don't have those opportunities here in New York. If we shoot 100 yards, that's a long shot for us.
Well, like I was telling you in Texas, that's your average shot because that's what everybody's kind of setting their feeders up at, and that's just the way it is. But out here, all know those long range shots that we would take down a Sendero or on dirt road in Texas would be on a hog or a coyote because if you hit, okay, if you don't, well, okay, but it's a hog or a coyote. But if it's a deer, no, and anything you shoot, you don't want to anything to suffer. But that's just the way it was. We would take way closer shots on deer, but out here, that's the way the hunting is, and that's just the name of the game. So I've upped my game to match where I'm hunting.
I love my hog hunting down in Texas.
Where do you go?
Hill country.
Okay, I lived in Barney, Texas for years.
Oh, okay.
Like Kerrville, all that.
I had a friend that owned a ranch in Fredericksburg, another one in geez, where Johnny Manziel grew up.
Oh yeah, College Station. Oh no, didn't he grow up in Austin?
No, no. He grew up in the hill country. Uh,
Okay, okay. Oh yeah, he played for Kerrville.
Kerrville,
Yeah,
another one
Kerrville.
in Kerrville.
When I look back, man, I wanted to go to South Texas because that's where all the big deer really are in Texas, and there's great deer in the hill country as well. But everything that grows in South Texas is full of protein, and that's why the big deer are all down there. if I'd have had the foresight to know what the hill country was going to turn into, I'd have bought in the Kerrville or Fredericksburg area, hands down, over South Texas. And I love South Texas, but the money and that real estate these days is so damn high. It's unbelievable.
No, it's through the roof.
Yep.
And it's beautiful country to hunt though. It's not
Yeah.
yeah, it's hilly, it's easy to get around, and it's like a hunter's paradise.
Yeah, I agree.
But well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak to us today, and definitely tune into our next episode, and we'll see you again soon.
Hey man, enjoyed it. Happy hunting everybody out there.